Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope everything is going well. As you already know, in this year we don't have a chance like others in the last year due to the current existing global pandemic, unless we use this kind of channel to at least introduce and share our own different unique culture and other knowledge. There is no any other cultural day that we are gonna to be celebrate. Therefore, to introduce one of the African countries, those of you who are watching this video, first I would like to ask you all a couple of questions, some few questions. For example, do you know an African country where the first human was discovered? And do you know an African country which has never been colonized? Do you know an African country again that discovered their alphabet and has their own ways of writing system? Do you know an African country that was repeatedly mentioned by the name in the Holy Bible more than 44 times? Do you know an African country that constructed 11 very unique church from a single rock? Do you know an African country which is the source and origin of Gion River? Nowadays, I think you guys all are water professionals, and there are also other people who doesn't know this thing. We call this river as a Blue Nile River. And do you know an African country which has their own ways of counting its calendar? I hope now you got some hints about this country. And this country is called Ethiopia. 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 And let's just go some of the points regarding the previous question. Ethiopia is a country where the first human being was discovered. I hope you know this behind the human history origin. Even in the recent scientific finding, now scientists have unearthed the jawbone of what they claim is one of the very first humans, as per this professor and scientific finding. I hope you guys know everybody about Lucy. I think you everybody knows about the history behind what a Lucy is. According to the scientists and the justification behind, Lucy has a 3.2 million years old fossil skeleton of human ancestor, which was discovered in 1974 in Ethiopia, particularly in Afar locality. And that's why here the justification behind the Ethiopian is considered as the first. The scientists consider Ethiopian the first human were originated. As you already know, and the recent finding describes, the jawbone was found close to the area where the Lucy was discovered. So, according to the scientific truths now in this day, people in the world all are originated from the homelands of Ethiopia. Maybe you guys you agree with this thing or not. I hope you can also watch and browse the secret behind why Ethiopia is the first human, where the site of the first human. And another point that I would like to tell you here is Ethiopia is again a country which has never been colonized even once. It's never been colonized even once. As you know, colonization hurted many countries around the world. That's why it is refreshing to see a place that was never colonized, not even once. This country is called Ethiopia, which is only African country which has never been colonized. And due to this, the Ethiopian people are the absolute freedom fighters and practically described that one to the whole world in the Battle of Adwa. I hope you know the Battle of Adwa. The Adwa Victory Day is in Ethiopia one of the public holidays that we massively celebrate. As a result, Ethiopia as a whole celebrate a victory day every year on March 2 or Yekatit Hayasost. So if you want to visit Ethiopia, you will see or you will find a country with their own culture that is completely untouched, and the people have their own distinct feature. The food has its own unique flavor. To be honest, you guys, you may salivate at this point. If you want to go and visit Ethiopia, please don't miss this kind of delicious food. As you already know, colonization raised many culture. But when there is no one to force their culture, clothes, language, food on you, you get a culture that is as unique and as beautiful as Ethiopia. I hope you understood that one very well. Another important point that I would like to mention here, Ethiopia is also a country that discovered its alphabet and has their own way of writing system. Perhaps the most well-known and most widely used native script in Africa, I can say, is Ge'ez, and it is used to write language in and around Ethiopia, including Amharic, which is the national language of the Ethiopia, which is the national language of the country Ethiopia, and the Ethiopian alphabet or Amharic letter is also known as Ethiopic, or we call them Ge'ez, which is of the oldest used in the world again. Ge'ez is also a written liturgical language of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. By the way, I think you know the history behind the Book of Enoch, and there are also many other ancient books. If you look at this, it is not something, you guys. This is one of, if you see a picture on the in the right hand side, that is one of the ancient important books which is found in Ethiopia. For your surprise, many of them are also found in the different countries of the world. The Book of Enoch and the other, which is very unique for Ethiopian, is also found in the other world. And another important point that I would like mention here is Ethiopia has also constructed 11 unique church from a single rock. 11 unique churches from a single rock. The 11 medieval monolithic rock-hewn church of Lalibela were carried is carved out of rock. Their building is attributed to King Lalibela, who set out to construct in the 12th century. Here, I can also mention a lot of things here. If you are already seen here, this is one of the wonderful celebration day in the 11 unique churches. We call in the common language ቤዛ ኩሉ ዓለም ሲከበር የሚያሳይ ነው። And I can also even mention the 11 churches, unique churches, which is constructed from one rock. For your surprise, it is already constructed from the top to the bottom, which is very unique in history. The church is categorized mainly in two groups. One is to the north of the river Jordan. Number 1, ቤተ መድኃኔዓለም, House of the Savior of the World. Number 2, ቤተ ማርያም, House of the Saint Mary. Number 3, ቤተ መስቀል, House of the Cross. Number 4, ቤተ ደናግል, House of the Virgin. Number 5, ቤተ ጎልጎታ or ቤተ ሚካኤል, House of Golgotha or House of Michael. And the sixth one is to the south of the river Jordan. Number 6, ቤተ አማኑኤል, House of Emmanuel. Number 7, ቤተ ቅዱስ መርቆሪዎስ or House of Saint Mercurius. Number 8, ቤተ ገብርኤል or ቤተ ሩፋኤል, House of Saint Gabriel or House of Saint Raphael. Number 9, Bethlehem, House of Holy Bread. Number 10, Beta Abba Livanos, House of Abba Livanos. And the 11th church, Beta Georgis or House of Saint George, is isolated from the other but connected by a system of trenches. And this is one of the important and wonderful, amazing churches in the world, by the way. And coming to the other important points, which is the cause for this introduction, Ethiopia has also their own unique or their own ways of counting its calendar. I hope you can get something new here. Ethiopia has, Ethiopian calendar system has 13 months of sunshine hour. As you already, I think, know, the first 12 months has each 12 months has 13 full days, and the last month, which we call Pagume, which is not existed in any other calendar system, has 5 days and 5 days and 6 in every 4 years, and even 7 in every 600 years. If you will be there in after 600 years, you will see that the 13 months will become 7. Another important point here is Ethiopia has again its own unique numeric. which we call Ethiopian numbers. As you can see in the right hand side, the bold one is the Ethiopian number and the small one is the Arabic number. The first day of the Ethiopian New Year is celebrated on the 11th of September, or Meskerem, and that's the day where every Ethiopian's greeting or saying Ethiopian New Year. They call each other just like this. And the Ethiopian and the Gregorian calendar has 7 years difference. If you guys want to erase 7 years of your age, yeah, hopefully you have to go to Ethiopia and live and start to live there. That may be fascinating. Another important question that we need to answer is why Ethiopians celebrate their new year in the 11th of September. This has its own reason and justification according to our church scholar. For this, at least we can mention 3 reasons. The first reason is because all the light, that is including the sun, the moon, the star, would complete their annual cycle in the 13 months. If you remember in the beginning of this slide, the 13 months we call it Pagume. So during Pagume, all this, the sun, the moon, the star would complete their annual cycle fully, 100%, and begin the new cycle in the 11th of September, when Meskerem and. Therefore, when all these start their own annual cycle in the first day, we will celebrate our new or our Ethiopian New Year. That's why, because it is connected with this truth. Another important justification behind why we need to celebrate the Ethiopian New Year on the 11th of September, it is because the night and the day lengths will become equal on 11th of September, or Meskerem. Due to this, if it is equal, fully managed, if you again count the number of days in a year, it will become 364. Of course, sometimes when it comes 6, it becomes 365. So, this is another important justification why we need to celebrate the New Year's, the Ethiopian New Year in 11th of September. Another important reason, the last reason for celebration, the justification behind the Ethiopian New Year on the 11th of September is, I think you all remember the history written on the Holy Bible when the flood of water was upon the earth during the time of Noah. That flood of water on the earth stopped on 11th of September, or Meskerem. So those devastating floodwaters, that devastating floodwater stop on the 11th of September, that is considered as a very good news for all living things, and the Ethiopian church scholar conclude with the previous reason this day as a new year for an Ethiopian. So these are some of the justification behind why we need to celebrate the new year on Meskerem or on 11th of September. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all get some insight about Ethiopia, and if you have any further question, please let me know, and please try to put your question on the bottom of this video, and I will respond it very soon. For further knowledge and joy, please have a plan to visit Ethiopia and to have really a wonderful relaxation time. Thank you so much again.